cloud connecting. Awesome. There we are. Okay. I'm going to minimize this so I won't be able to see any of your beautiful faces. So you don't have to have your So you don't have to have your video on if you don't want it on. You can save bandwidth. But if I can see you all, I just don't have enough screen real estate for that. Weird. Okay. I can see just one person who isn't me for some reason. Oh, wow. Great. Okay, so welcome to Coding Club. It is our first of 10 sessions this year. And this year's Coding Club is unlike previous ones where we made shiny apps. We're going to make an R package. Thank you everyone who is signed up through Eventbrite. If you haven't signed up through Eventbrite, try to do that at some point. It helps me keep track of like who was interested in this, even if you kind of only show up to one or two and don't come to the rest. And then there's like a brief survey on the Eventbrite that gives me an overview of everybody's experience. And it looks like for the most part, we're beginner or intermediate R coders. Very few people have tried to create a package before, so this will be the first time for most of us. But Coding Club is like meant to be a fun thing to do with R, to learn stuff. It's not like a rigorous class where you've got lots of homework and such. So we'll attempt to make this fun, but also very much beginner friendly. So please stop me at any time if I'm going too fast, if you don't understand something. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. If you want to put questions into the chat, answer each other's questions. There's 100 of you now, so somebody might actually have the answer before I get to it. But if I'm ignoring something in the chat that like needs to be addressed right now, you can turn on your audio and yell at me. Oh goodness, I would love to do like introductions and find out what everybody's doing, but that'll be the entire thing today. So in the interest of time, let's get started. All right, so the book that we're going to be working with, I'll put this into the chat so people have something to click on, is here. So let me just grab that and move it over. All right, so you should be able to see this now. All right, so that's not a book down. It's written in Quarto, actually. I'm trying to figure out Quarto. One of the cool things about Quarto is you can have dark mode and light mode. I prefer dark mode, but I think light mode probably works better over on a presentation. All right, so the overview is stuff you probably already know if you're here. We will be working on chapter 1, setting up today. So basically all the code that we're going to be using is in this. So if you get that up, pop it over to the side. Actually, can I get, how do I pull? I'm not gonna be able to pull people really quick, but I would love to have an indication of how many people are planning on actually following along with our studio versus they will learn better by just watching the run through and then using either the book or the recordings later when they're actually going to code. So can you put like a thumbs up if you're going to do coding today along, like co-code with me? Oh, good. I can see now the thumbs up there. 38, 39. Give you a second to add your thumbs up if you've. All right, it's going down. So we had a maximum of 50 at one point. So at least half of you are planning to code along. So I will. This is one thing, sometimes I go a bit fast, so tell me to slow down if I'm not giving you enough time to get stuff done. I'm going to pop this back to my other screen. All right, so we've got our studio open. The very first thing we're going to do is use a function from usethis. I don't load it with the library command because it's going to open up a new project and then you're going to need to load it again anyway. So just type usethis. And create underscore package, and you got to tell it where you want the package to be created. Now, if you've made projects before or packages before, you might be used to doing the new project and then you create a package type, but usethis starts you out with a bunch of really useful starter files, helper files that you're going to need for package creation. And so I always use this now. And we should just get into the habit of using usethis because it's got so many helpful things. All right, so we got to tell it what path. Hopefully you all know where you store stuff. You tend to store stuff in R, and hopefully you've all used projects before. But if you haven't, just make sure you put a path to somewhere that you know where it is. I put everything in my rproj folder, and then you say what name it is. So I'm gonna call it demo PKG. If you give yours the same name, then you'll be able to use all of the code that's in the book without modifying it. So run that. It's going to give you some output, and then it should open up a whole new RStudio window. And you can go ahead and just close that old. No, do not save. All right, so you can close the old window. We've got our new package open. You should be able to tell in the upper right here that what package you're in or what project you're in. You're in the demo package project. Well, awesome. I'm sorry, have a quick look at the chat. Usethis not found. Oh, yes, you brought. Thank you everybody for sorting out the questions. All right, so can you, if you need a little bit more time to get this sorted out, can you pop a thumbs down? What are our options here? Put a thumbs up if there is no thumbs down. All right, so we got a few people need another minute to get this sorted. What's a good default path? It depends on where you keep stuff. So, oh no, I'm going to show you my terrible organization. But so if you're using a Mac, you've got your home folder. It's got all this stuff. I just have a rproj folder here where I keep all of my R projects organized by which GitHub repo they're in. So if you're using tilde rproj demo package, that means you need to have in your home folder. So the tilde is a shortcut to wherever your home folder is. So you need to have a home folder, and you need to have a directory called rproj inside of it that you've already made. So if you don't have one of those, the path that I've used doesn't work. You'll need to use your own path. So you could do something like, let me just copy paste this in here. So what's a good idea here is hit tab and see where are you right now? Where is your default working directory? You'll be able to see what's inside of that directory. Well, right now my default working directory is actually the project I'm in. But if you're already inside of another project, you could do // which means just go up one directory, and then if you hit tab, let's see what's in there. And these are all of the directories that are inside my rproj directory. And you can find a place then to put your project. All right, does anybody have has everybody got a project created? Let me type in the chat if you don't have a project created, because you're gonna be lost otherwise if you don't. Okay. Oh, weird. Okay, I can see myself now. All right. Somebody's got no package called usethis. That means you don't have usethis installed yet. So you do need to install it with install packages, usethis. So I will actually pop that into the chat so you can just copy that. All right, okay, so there's a few of you who didn't get a chance to install usethis or DevTools before the class. It's partly my fault that I didn't get the materials. You don't know about the materials before we just started out. It really depends on what's going on with your computer and how many of the dependencies you already have installed. If you tell it to not update anything else, which should generally be fine, it could take, So as Torsten says, as little as 5 seconds. Somebody's going on 5 minutes and counting. Oh no, Ibtihaj. This rlang thing happened to me when I was teaching on Friday, that I updated something and then basically you need to update your version of R and then update the version of rlang to get, that's like a big, more general than use this problem. This rlang is already loaded, but a higher version is required. If anybody else has ideas about this, I ran into that on Friday and ended up having to ask our IT support to like re-image a computer for me to fix it. Okay, so periodically some people are going to have problems that like, I'm just going to have to go on with the class and you'll have to catch up on recordings later after we get things sorted. And you can always message me after class about, we can troubleshoot specific problems. All right, so for everyone who has their demo package project up, the first thing that we're going to do is edit the description file. So if you go into the lower right pane, some people's RStudios are organized differently, but the default is this is in the lower right. Oh, okay, we've got a question here. Wondering why there is more than one folder .rproj.user in my setting than yours. I'm not sure what you mean. Like I've got a, oh, if you can't see .rproj.user, it's probably because the settings that you have don't show, move something, that they don't show files that start with dot. So what I'm going to do here is see under global options, where do we put that option? Oh goodness, I cannot remember where that option is kept. On the gear icon, you can choose, perfect. Oh, I can't see that because the chat's on top of that, but you can't tell that the chat's on top of that. Let me move this over so the chat's not on top of it. Little gear icon. So if you want to see your hidden files, click that. I can get rid of them. And I can still see the dot bar R build ignore. But yeah, so I like to be able to see my hidden files. Thank you. Okay, so in the Files tab, we've got a few different tabs here. Click Files, and you should see here all of this stuff. Click on Description. All right, and so that is going to show you your generic package description. Every package needs a description file, and it needs to be well formatted. It's in YAML format, which is the most annoying format in the history of all formats, but it's fine. We can deal with this. You just have to be like pretty careful about spacing and line breaks and colons and a space after your colon, etc. Because of that, I often have turned on here in my global options. Is it under appearance? Under code. What is it called? Under display, show white space characters. So if you turn that on, it shows dots for spaces and the line break character and such. And that I find that helpful for debugging YAML, because YAML is really picky about where spaces are. So the description file has a package name. So we've all called our demo package, hopefully, but if you make packages in the future, these package names have to have a specific formatting. So they can only have letters, numbers, and full stops, no underscores, no dashes, no special characters. And I think they can't start with a number. And there's probably a length limit, but I'm not sure what that is. So your package name, some package names that you might think you would really like to have, you're not allowed to have because they have dashes or underscores. Then we have a title. So you can pop in whatever you want the title of your package to be. You can call it just demo package to start with. And as we get a more, as we find out what our packages are doing, we can update that. There's also a description. What does your package do? A demo for Coding Club 2022. This description is usually meant to be at least one full sentence and generally a paragraph with several sentences. You have to have a full stop at the end of at least one sentence if you're ever going to submit this to CRAN. Otherwise, they come back and yell at you and tell you that your description is inadequate. So at least one thing needs to look like a full sentence in the description. Ignore the license right now. And we are going to add underneath the package one more thing, the date. 2022, what is it? 10:05. So let's keep it there and let's save all of this. Make sure you save it. So if it's not saved, if you've got changes, this will be red. And so I'm using keyboard shortcuts for that, but you can also click that button or use the save up here in the file. Okay, this needs to be saved because we're going to use this command to choose a license. You see here it says use MIT license, use GPL3 license, or friends. So in the book, under create a license, we're skipping the author right now. We'll go back to the author bit. There's a few licenses that are probably more useful for study or data packages. What we're creating is going to be a study data package where we package up some data sets, a few functions that help us to analyze the data, and then create vignettes that walk through the analysis for the data and analyses that are in a published paper. I'm going to give you the data from one of my PhD studies from a really long time ago, like 20 years ago now. So you can use those, or you can use your own data and your own analyses for whatever you want. There's exercises at the end of each chapter that are basically like, we're going to go through and make the demo package that's about my study. And then the next thing you can do is like make another package, because repeating everything we do a few times really like embeds it in your head. So you might want to make a demo package along with the class and then work on a package for your own data as your practice. But for study or data packages, a CC BY license is probably more appropriate so people can reuse data, the analyses, the code, as long as they cite you. Or CC0 if it's like just data, nothing else there. CC0 is a public domain license that people can use it. They don't have to cite you. It's just out there in the world now. If you're writing a package that's mainly meant to give other people functions, so the types of packages you tend to download from CRAN, things like ggplot or dplyr, then you'd want to use a license like MIT or GPL3, but like licenses are a whole huge issue and you got to read a lot about them to find out what they do. So I'm going to use CC BY license. So I'm copy that code, pop this back over here, and then you put that not into this description file, but into the console. I'll just get rid of all that crap. So use CC BY license. So use this will just sort it out for you, figure out how to change this description file. It adds that text for your license and also a license.md file here, which is just a copy of the CC BY license. And you can then edit that copy to add different things to it if you'd like. Okay. And then let's go through the other things that are in the description file. The version here, when you're working on a development version, like this isn't a version we're releasing to anybody, the kind of norm is to have 3 zeros dot, you start with 9,000, and then when the next time you update it, it's 9,001, 9,002. So you've got plenty of numbers to work with here. That these just mean this is a development version. And once it's like you're ready to release it to the world, it could be 1.0.0, or sometimes people do 0.0.1 for like alpha software. I would start with the 1 if it's a data package. I'll link at some point to, there's a discussion in the Wickham and Brian book about our packages, about what are the meanings of all these 4 numbers and how do people tend to use them in package development, which I still don't 100% understand. but that's what the version's for. And then authors at R. So I'll pop this back onto the screen, maybe a little bit bigger. We'll back up here. So the authors, there's a specific way we can add authors into a package. So you might have more than one author, in which case you need to surround them with the concatenate function, C here, and then this is the last parenthesis that encloses them. And then you have these person objects or person functions, which have the given name, family name, roles, email, and I like to put the org IDs in. Most people here are researchers, and if you are an academic researcher and you don't have an org ID, you should get one. They're an outstanding way to make sure that all of your research is attributed to you, especially if you have a common name that other people have, or you have a name that might change in the future. No problem if you're always using your org ID. So there's a link here for you to get an org ID if you don't have one yet. If you don't have one right now, just leave this part, the comment line out. So I'm going to copy just that bit. So again, you can hit enter there. You can just get rid of that entire comment bit if you don't have an org ID. So you just have first, last, etc. But I would use the model from the book because it's formatted a bit nicer than the one from usethis. So given, family, role, your email address, and then the comment that you can get rid of that if you need to. The roles, there has to be a CRE role for a package. There has to be one person who's the creator. Because that person, if you're going to submit your package to CRAN or any archives in the future, there needs to be a creator who's the person who's responsible. And they also need to have an email address so that you can get an email. Just like the email that I got at 3 o'clock in the morning saying that basically every CRAN package I have was going to be pulled from CRAN because one of ggplot's dependencies was going to be pulled for a random reason. This is not actually going to happen, but this email was sent to like 4,000 developers at 3 o'clock this morning and freaked us all out that basically every package on CRAN was going to be pulled because ggplot wasn't going to work anymore, but it's going to work. It'll be fine. Right, but that's why they need your email. Right, so Xenia says ORCID pronunciation is better than org ID. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. ORCID, org ID. I like them both. ELF ID, Martin. That's ridiculous, but also kind of funny. All right, so hopefully everybody's had time to update their person bit. This is the part where like things go wrong most frequently because you will have done something like left out a comma. I save that. If you go up into the build, I might need to make this bigger because everything's so big here. You go up into build and click check. You'd have DevTools installed to do this. All right, so I'm going to get an error here. If I fix this, check. Like we have nothing in our package right now, so it should all be fine. All right, so if this is formatted correctly, after a bit of faffing about, you will get 0 errors, 0 warnings, 0 notes. That might be the last time we see that for a while. But yeah, that green tag, that's like the best feeling once you've checked your package. Yes, a recording of this session will be available. It should be being recorded right now. Yep, it is being recorded. I will post it as soon as I can after the session. All right, so let's take a second here. Let's have everybody do this check. When you do the check, basically it just runs DevTools check function. So you could just type this into the console. Sorry. Things need to be big when I give a presentation, but they're like this much bigger text than I normally use. Yeah, so you could just type that into the console if you're a person who hates GUIs. but many people love GUIs, so I also teach them. And if you forget, like, all the important stuff here is in the build tab for package development. All right, so let's see. Thorsten has got a, okay. So that error just means that something is badly formatted, and it is almost certainly the author's bit. So one thing you can do to like double check, is that the problem, is just cut this, and you can always undo, go back, but cut, save, and check again. Although if I totally cut, oh no, it's going to be grumpy if I totally cut the authors. So you are just going to have to like keep trying to sort that. Failed to parse description file. Line number 6 is invalid. So Chris, look on line number 6. So probably if it gives you a line number that's invalid, it usually means the error is in that line or it's in the line before. So what I would recommend here is going back to this bit and just copy this entire section. And then delete everything between, oops, don't delete version. Delete everything between version and description and paste that section in. So when we check that, hopefully I've given you a non-malformed author. Checking, checking, checking. There we go. Okay. So if you do that, that will be absolutely sure that the author's list is well formatted. And then you can go from there. So if you want to get rid of the second person, if you copy all of that in, it starts with this C for we're going to concatenate together multiple authors. So you got to leave the end in there and just get rid of all of that up to the comma. Let me see. I don't think it bulks if you're concatenating a single item. Yeah, no, that's fine. Right, so you can kind of troubleshoot from there. Make sure that it's well formatted, check it, and then change one thing at a time. All right. Kyoshi, gonna murder this pronunciation. Kyoshi has got system command, an exe file failed is difficult to troubleshoot. I would Google that error message and then message me later, like email me later if you can't figure that one out, but I can't troubleshoot that one during class. If you've got questions, like you don't need to direct message me because they'll scroll off the screen faster than I can see them. Message everybody because somebody else might be able to help you. All right. Gotcha. Oh, the dots. Yep. So gotcha. We did, if you go to tools, global options, and then under code, and then under display, turn on show white space characters. So if I turn that off, apply, it gets rid of them. Apply. The indent guides are these sort of like the straight lines show where you go to for each tab. So you can kind of customize that to what you really like. Okay, Leanne, if you can't find the tools necessary to compile a package, first double check, try library dev tools. All right, and if you get loading required package or anything other than an error message, then you have DevTools. If not, you need to install DevTools. If you've installed DevTools or there's a problem, let me just grab really quickly a link to a site that helps you. If depends on whether you're on a Mac or a Windows, you might need to install some further tools. If you're on a Mac, there's developer tools that you need. So let me grab this ReproRes book, should help. No, it's maybe a different book here. And okay, I'll put this into the chat. Send to everybody. Okay, so this is one of our SciTeach books. There's a bit on installing R. So if you go down to installing R tools, if you're on Windows, you might need to install R tools. If you are on a Mac, oh no, that's not, it's under the FAQ. Installing. Oh, here, this is what it is. There's, if you're on a Mac, you might need to run this Xcode select install, but where you run it is, I'll show you a sec, is not inside the console, because this is for your main computer, it's not an R thing, inside the terminal. So if you go in the terminal, you Xcode select install. This might take like 5 to 20 minutes, so I wouldn't do it right now. You'll probably need to come back to the recording of this to finish. But if you install that, that installs some of the developer tools for a Mac that let you run dev tools. And I will put this in my notes to add this to the book. Okay, so Vikas. Oh, Gemma, the license bit you can grab at the book right here. All right, perfect. Oh no, okay. Vikas has asked, found the following files / directories .ds store, which means you're on a Mac. So Macs do this incredibly annoying thing of creating .ds_store files that basically they store the icons and some information about your files that are used by the Mac Finder. They create them all over the place, but they're not useful for package development, etc. So we are not using, oh no, this is, I've got it set like to ignore them across the board. They're not a big deal right now. I will add it to my list to look up exactly how to deal with that. .ds store. So next week I will have information on that. And we've got another, yes, AG, you've got the same problem as, oh goodness, QIAOSI. Kiashi has had the same rcommand.exe problem. I don't know how to fix it yet, but rcommand.exe, I've added that to the list as well. Oh, OneDrive. Okay, this is just like a generic R thing. If you are saving your files in OneDrive, don't do it. In fact, if you need to move your stuff around, this is one quick way to do it. We can just quit RStudio and go find that file. So find my RProj file. If it's inside of OneDrive, grab it, demo package. You can put it wherever you want. Put it on your desktop. I don't care. Don't keep things on your desktop. Like before this class, I took all 500 things off my desktop and put them in that folder so that you couldn't see how badly I keep my desktop. But grab the whole demo package folder, put it somewhere that's not on a cloud drive, because that can really mess up just basically everything in your life. And OneDrive gets worse and worse every month, I think, with like the things that it's doing that make it hard to use it for any sort of coding. So when once you've moved it to somewhere that's like a sensible place that's not on OneDrive, then click on this demo package.rproj. It'll reopen it up. So using our RStudio projects is a really nice way to make all of your stuff, it goes inside that folder. You can move it around wherever you want, and everything uses relative paths. Okay, so Katya was, you can't move stuff out of the cloud. The other thing that you can do if you can't figure out how, so you gotta like quit down RStudio when you do the moving, otherwise you're gonna get a bunch of error messages when you move the whole package away. But if you, for some reason, can't move this around, just restart, create a new package that's saved on a non-cloud drive, and and then you can copy the text of the description file over to that. Great, what am I doing here? Demo package, put that back up. Okay, so we were playing with the description file. We basically finished everything in the description file. And we've checked that it's well formatted, so we can close up our description file. And now we want to create a README. So we'll use another function from usethis. It's use readme _ RMD. We want to make an R markdown README file first, because eventually there's going to be a bit of R code demonstrating like what our package can do. So there's two different kinds of READMEs you can make. One that's just a markdown file that like doesn't have any code in it, and one that's an R markdown file that has code in it, needs to be compiled or rendered to create the README that's going to be displayed on GitHub eventually. So let's use this function. What it's going to do is just make readme.rmd, and also it should open it up inside of your source pane. We can ignore this bit, output GitHub document that just doesn't need to be changed. There's a thing here that says readme.md is generated from readme.rmd. Please edit that file. That's just to remind you, if you open up the MD file that we're going to create in a minute, you shouldn't edit that. You should edit this file and then create the MD file from this file. Don't edit this bit either. This is fine. The under options is just going to save images in a specific place that's useful for packages, but we're not going to have any images yet. So the next bit here is the name of your package. A little section. So what is this? Less than, exclamation point, dash dash is how you start a comment in HTML. So these are HTML comments, so you can see them. But when this is rendered or shown online, nobody else can see them. So they're like nice ways to add in comments. This is where you will start badges and end badges. Let's have a quick look at what I mean by badges. I'll show you a package, one of my packages. So this is a package for simulating data. And these are badges. So once you've created a package, you can give it a DOI at Zenodo. You can say where it is in its life cycle. You can even do automatic checks whether or not the build is passing or not, how much code coverage you have in your tests, and other things. So we won't worry about badges right now, but after we have a more complete package, we'll look at giving it a DOI and adding badges in. Yes, good point, Lisa. People can, so eventually we're gonna share our package on GitHub. Other people can see your code on GitHub, all of your code. They can look in and see the comments. So even if the comments like don't display on the website that's about your package, someone will be able to see them. So don't put things in there that you don't want other people to see. So just leave this up here. We have no packages right now. The goal of demo package is you can practice making a package. All right, and then we've got our installation bit. Okay, so you can install the development version of demo package like so. So you've got to put something in there. We will eventually be able to install our packages like this. So I'll pop that in the chat so you can just copy paste. Your username is going to be whatever your GitHub username is. I will give you a little bit of warning before we get to the chapter where we set up Git, so you can get Git installed, get a GitHub account, etc. if you don't already have one. My GitHub username is DeBrian. And yes, for any Dutch speakers in the crowd, I don't know how to pronounce my last name, and I'm sorry, but that's how we do it in America. All right, so we've got that, and then we're gonna get rid of the example because we don't have actually any functions yet. So let me shrink that just a little bit. So this is what our README looks like right now, is just this header stuff, that the name of our package, badges section, a paragraph or a sentence about the goals. You can copy that from the description bit here if you want. And then how do you install it? This is just like what people expect when they see a package on GitHub, that it's organized like this, your README. Once you finish the README, click the knit button. And you see here, that's what your README looks like. If you go into your files, now you have a readme.md file. Don't edit this. That's why it starts with, please edit that file. Edit the RMD file and then reknit it to create the MD file. This will let you include our code that we'll do later. All right, so we've got a README, we've got a description, we have nothing else in here. It's just, eventually we're gonna have data, we're gonna have functions, we're gonna have documentation for all of that, and then vignettes that kind of walk people through how do you use this package, what's inside of it, what was the analysis for the data that you're presenting. But we can still install our package, hopefully, if you don't have errors in the description file. If there are errors in the description file, it's not gonna let you install. So you should have already run the check. The check isn't gonna care about the README, so we don't need to run it again. So if you pop up in this build section and just click install. If you're having DevTools problems, you're not gonna be able to do this either. This just runs the DevTools install function. You're gonna get a bunch of text here. So don't worry about the no man pages, just means there's no help files yet because we haven't actually written any functions that need help files. It tests a bunch of things. Hopefully this is all good, and at the end it will say done. If it does not, then we need to troubleshoot. But if it says done, then you have installed demo package. So what you can do, check inside of your packages pane. So PCKG is a different thing, but demo package has been installed. That's our version. Your description check. What error does your description check? Description check returns an error. Actually, it'll be interesting to know then if description check returns an error, what does it do for this next thing? So you've got demo package. You can, if you use the install button up here, it will have already just done library demo package for you. If you, instead of that, if you had typed DevTools install in the console, it just does the installation, but doesn't automatically restart R, and you need to restart R yourself and library demo package yourself. Now, demo package doesn't do anything yet, but there is one cool thing we can look at is the citation. So if we citation, and then this needs to be in quotes, demo package, you should see the kind of default citation. We can customize this later, but the default citation is the author's name, the year, name of your package, the title of your package, and it'll say our package version. And then it will give you a BibTeX version for that. So that is basically all we're going to do today. Is this is just the very first things when you want to set up a new package. This is what you go through. and check that all of this is working well. And then we can start adding in, next week, we're going to add in data. So first, the further practice is try making another package for your own data and analysis. So for a project that you're interested in, think about what do you want to call it? What is the description going to be? You'll probably have a more extensive README for a data package that you're interested in. So practice setting up another one of these that has all the co-authors for the project that you're working on, etc. Next week, we are going to add a data set. So we're going to use some data that you can download from the OSF, or you can use your own data. I'd recommend like following along with my data and then practice later with your own data. We're going to add that to a directory and go through the process of creating a data object that gets included with your R package, and also documenting a data set. So it's basically creating a sort of code book for your data set. Great, so the rest of our time is devoted to questions. I have probably missed a bunch here because the chat's pretty extensive. Let me make the chat bigger. But if everything is going great for you, I'll see you next week. And if you're still having problems, you can stick around and we'll do a bit of troubleshooting here. I'm going to stop the recording now, though, so that we don't have to put a lot of that in the troubleshooting or in the recording. But I will start making a troubleshooting kind of appendix to the book and add in solutions that we find to various things that have gone wrong. Thanks so much for coming along. I hope to see you next week, but there'll always be recordings. All right, just 1 sec. Let me stop the recording.